Hiya Richard, great to finally meet up with you and start working on your game over the weekend. As promised, quick recap of the session and a review of the key points that we covered. First things first, we talked about the angle at which the shaft should sit at P1, your address position. You can see here that if we do a line up through the shaft, so hand plane for you at the moment is very high, it's midway through your torso, and what we would want to see as your baseline setup would be that line hitting you around about the belt line. We don't mind you being an inch or so above, like we see here on the bottom left, but we don't want you excessively above. So the shaft, or the line through the shaft, which is the hand plane, which the early part of the swing should take place on, should be through the belt line. Maybe a little bit lower if you're trying to cut it, a little bit higher like we see here if we're trying to get a draw. But as high as you've got it on the top left, that's going to make for a very straight back, up and down type of swing with more of an inline to slightly outside the hands angle of approach at P6. You can see there the club head just ever so slightly out in front of the hands, whereas with standing a touch further away from it, the inward component of the hands is a little bit easier to achieve, producing a slightly deeper turn, if you will, to the top. And then as we come into P6, we're now able to, just scroll this down, get the club more inside the hands. So slight change in the position at P6 brought about by standing initially a little bit further away from the golf ball. Remember, this all relates to your inability to get the ball drawing as much as you'd like. When we looked at it from face on, you can see yourself against Charlie Wee as the model here. The big issue is the movement of this left knee moving in towards the right knee too much rather than out towards the baseline more. When the left knee moves in so much on the way back, it's very difficult to get it out in front of the left ankle by P5. So the first move from the top within the pattern is to move the left knee out in front of the left ankle a couple of inches. That's going to produce the hip slide that we're looking for, so we can gauge how much the hips, or where the hip centre is, largely by where the left knee is during the downswing. So Charlie Wee's got his left knee 2 inches outside his left ankle, hip centre's well forward, your left knee is over the left ankle, and as a result the hip centre, crooked line, is further back. That's going to produce issues in regards to the quality of strike, the angle of descent on the golf club. Remember what we talked about, when you're hitting down on the ball, you're also hitting out at the golf ball, and in turn is going to reduce your ability to draw the ball. So the feelings that we left you with were, as we saw previously with down the line, is to stand further from the ball, feel like you're reaching for it a fraction, and get the butt of the club down so that it points. If there was a laser coming out the end of the club, it would be pointing to the belt line. Then in the backswing, the feeling is as follows. You're going to keep the left knee working towards the baseline, so towards the target line. You can see there, much more like we see with Charlie Wee. It's post position, it's not a shot, it's just a drill. But you can see the control of what the left knee does now is much more appropriate. I don't mind a little bit of movement in, but we certainly don't want an excessive movement in that moves you off the golf ball. That's also had the effect of getting the hips, rather than turning level, turning on a more tilted angle, as we see with all good players. From there, the key thought, or the key feel, is to leave the arms where they are and move the left knee out in front of the left ankle. So left knee forward, and again, much more on top of the golf ball. Hip centre's more forward at P5, so we take that line down. Now we're in a much more similar position to what we see Charlie Wee. The more the left knee moves forward, the more the hip centre moves forward, the tighter the circumference of the golf swing is going to be, and also your ability to draw the golf ball, if done correctly, is going to improve dramatically. Great session, lovely to meet up with you. Some great things in your swing. I look forward to seeing how it progresses during 2013. All the best through Christmas. Well done.